Welcome to Grit, the Real Estate Growth Mindset podcast, hosted by Brian Charlesworth, founder of Sisu. Sisu provides growth automation software for real estate. You'll hear stories from real estate thought and technology leaders, team owners, and brokers on how they grew their business in a rapidly changing industry. You'll learn how to transform your brokerage and teams into a high-performing and analytics-driven business so you have a new, durable, competitive advantage against disruption in your market. So let's get right into it.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Grit Podcast. I'm Brian Charlesworth. I'm the founder of Sisu and your host of the show. And for those of you watching, you probably see I'm in a different background. I'm actually coming into our office every day. This was Spring's wall of moss at some point, and I need to add a few things to it. Like, I don't know if you can see this, Sandee, or anybody else, but there's a GT3 RS back here.
Perfect.
Another one right here, so you can tell what kind of car I love, GT3 RS. So anyway, today I am super excited and grateful to have Sandee Payne on the show with me. Sandee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, for a long time. You've been waiting for this for 5 years now, and all you had to do was let me know.
I'd say I don't know, maybe 8 months since I've known you. So.
Okay, well, Sandee runs a team called Design to Sell out of Texas. Mm-hmm. And Sandee also has a team that she's opening up in Arizona right now. So I want to get into those a little bit. But before we do, Sandee, let's go back into, I think you used to be a designer, if I'm not mistaken. Let's talk about interior designer, I should say. Let's go back and talk about your life and how you ended up in interior design and how you ended up here. I know you used to travel the world as well because Michael was in the military. So let's hear a little background, a little bit about your story.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so I've almost been married for 30 years. Next year will be 30 years. So
congratulations.
Way back. More with him than I have the rest of my life. So yeah, you'd fall in love with a guy in a uniform, For us, it was a Catholic school uniform before military uniform. So we actually grew up very close to each other in town, but went to two different schools. And long story short, we wound up falling in love, getting married, and he was in the military. So we did have the beautiful pleasure of traveling the world, living all over the world. We lived 7 years in Germany. We've been to 18 different countries.
Where in Germany?
We started in a little town called Vilseck, and then we moved to Bamberg and then Würzburg. So we were there for 7 years before we came back to the States.
Did you learn German while you were there?
I did. I got really, really good at it. I actually got really good at it. And then you move back to, the hard thing about it is they all want to speak English. They all crave to speak English. And so it's very hard to be no, I don't want to speak English. I want to speak.
Telling lies about me, Brian. She's telling lies about me.
Michael's coming in.
Look, Michael's coming in, joining us on the podcast. Welcome, Michael. You're on the podcast.
We're recording on the podcast.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So anyway, he's out. He realized oops, okay, she's recording for something. Anyway, so yeah, we got to move all over. I mean, it was just crazy. The experiences and the culture and the people, just exposing ourselves and our kids to just the world is something that we feel is really, really special to be able to do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That is special. I love travel. And I love going to Europe as well. So it sounds like you spent a lot of time there.
When you were there on your latest adventure, going through Switzerland, and I'm oh yeah, we've been there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going back in memory and living vicariously. And through that time, it's hard when you're a military family and you're raising a family. My husband was gone a lot, many years, year over year in Iraq, fighting the wars and all of that. And it's hard to get into a career when you're not only full-time stay-at-home mom, single mom almost, but you're also moving around. So we know in a lot of businesses, or at least 20 years ago, we didn't have the virtual space to grow and be entrepreneurs in this virtual space that we can touch. You had to be really local with what you were doing. And that was really hard to kind of plant roots, start a business, 2 years, up and move and do it again and do it again. But one of the things that I was always passionate about was interior design and decorating. All my whole life, I've just always loved it. I love the arts. It brings me joy to be surrounded by beautiful things and culture and styles and all of that. And it led me to kind of, I'll call it like kind of a little freelance entrepreneur, moving around in the military. It's like helping other families kind of allow their homes to become home, even though they weren't always the most ideal of living quarters and they weren't very long, and there were a lot of things we were restricted from doing if you lived in housing or in a rental. You can't paint the walls and wallpaper and really like make big modifications. So the creativity that I grew up with my family being very creative, my mom and dad, I was able to really just be like, I don't know, let's just repurpose. And it was kind of like, I was Joanna Gaines before Joanna Gaines, okay?
That's
Like
great.
I like to say that, like, she doesn't have a formal background either. And so it was, I think when you just have that character, you're able to really create visions and things that people just don't see. And so I would create my little apartment or wherever we lived. People would come in and they'd be like, I can't, you paint it? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you have to paint it back. I'm like, okay, I'll paint it back. Like, but while I'm here, this is home, right? This is my home. This is my space. This is where I have to spend my time and I have to love it. And we would do this. And then I started helping other people, other military families. And it kind of turned into like this blossoming, like interior design career.
That's
It's
great.
crazy. Yeah. So when we
So,
wound up here in Texas, it's like our last duty station. I actually just like, what I'm gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna open a legit interior design business. And I did it for 7 years here.
okay. So what made you shift from interior design to real estate?
Yeah. So I was doing a lot of work for builders, custom home builders, going to design centers, helping people do all that. I did a lot of work for real estate agents, staging consults, helping them. They would pay me hourly to go, help their clients declutter and get the house ready for a listing. And then I knew what I was getting and I knew what the real estate agent was getting. And so I was like, this is kind of like a little backwards. I feel like I'm doing like all the work and doing the presentation. And then I'm, getting my couple $100, an hour, and they're making thousands on the sale. But I kept it like that because, he was still in the military. And I was like, I just don't know if we're going to move. And I know with real estate, that's time, right? It takes time to get established in your brand and to grow and have that repeat referral business. And then we kind of got to the end of, or the opportunity for him to decide, like, are we going to stay in? Is he going to retire? And we made the family commitment for him to retire after 23 years. And I think on retirement, I like went and got my license and flipped the
Okay.
whole thing. Yeah, flipped the whole thing
And
into real
and was
estate.
it because when you were in interior design, you thought real estate seemed interesting, or you were just like, these guys in real estate are making more money, or what was the motivator?
Yeah, I think it was kind of one money, obviously. I thought, geez, I could have a whole niche. Like if our local market doesn't have the talent of the design and the interior vision, I could really like come into this space of real estate with a niche that no one else has.
Yeah.
And so yeah, of course, make the money from the work. And and I think I really continued to really crave what I felt with like I want to help people find home. I love, we're a big military town. I want people to feel like this is their home, even if it's just for a little while. And to be able to truly do that, I had to step into the role as the real estate agent as well.
Yeah. So I think one of the things you guys are going to find with Sandy is she's got a lot of passion behind what she does. You might even see her get emotional today
Oh gosh.
about what
Yeah,
she does.
I do cry. I do cry on things for some reason.
Um, but one thing I want you guys to know before we end this podcast, we are going to talk about an accomplishment that Sandy did a few years back
Yeah.
that is pretty amazing. And she wants to
Oh
help
God,
others
you're gonna
do
make
the
me cry.
same thing. And it's amazing. So we have something really exciting that we're going to announce here today, but I'm going to hold off on that for a few minutes. But Sandy, so you've gone from that to selling real estate now. And when you
Mhm.
first started real estate, you were really focused on just selling, and now you're kind of shifting
Mhm.
into building a team. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely walked right into the listing part of real estate. They always say everybody starts as a buyer agent. I was like, I'm going in for the kill. Like I've been in listings, I help agents list houses. Like I'm just gonna focus on listings. And I did very well my first year. I sold 29 homes and it just escalated, kind of from there. But yeah, I mean, I knew quickly. This was also kind of pre in the day, it was 11 years ago. So it was before like VAs, again, like before this virtual space, there was a lot of like physical manual work that had to be done by you or someone else like physically in your space. And I learned really quickly that I was able to attract the business, but I couldn't handle all the business. Like it was just too much. And then I knew like okay, the average agent I think closes like 4 houses a year. I'm like, I've got something figured out. And it was probably my second year in that I was like, I think I want to teach other people. I think I want to help other people grow. Even just in my own little, small little brokerage, people have been in the business for 20 years. We're like, how are you doing that? How are you, especially into the social media and like that piece that some of the more veteran agents kind of didn't have or weren't wanting to lean into or realizing real quick how valuable the new ideas were. And
Yeah.
so I wound up, kind of teaching and coaching agents in our own brokerage. And it really just made me believe that, like, I think I have something special, right? I
Yeah.
say I think back then because I thought. Now I know, like, I know
Yeah.
for sure I have some special gifts to share with people
Yeah.
by all means. But back then I thought, well, if somebody wants to know, I guess I'm doing something right. And so yeah, started growing my team from there.
I love that. So what year was it you actually got into real estate?
14.
2014. So it's 12
hmm
years now you've been in real
hmm
estate, or 11 years, I guess. So
hmm
you're right. I mean, real estate used to be completely different than it is today, right?
hmm
There
Yeah.
wasn't such thing as VAs anywhere. There wasn't
hmm
this, I'm going to work on my business instead of in my business. There
hmm
weren't teams that were doing $1 billion in volume
Yeah.
and 500 to 1,000 homes or more. I remember when everybody's goal was to get to 100 million in volume. And that was like that was the dream. And
Yeah.
now, I mean, we have hundreds of customers at Sisu that do hundreds of millions in volume,
Mhm.
which is just amazing. So
Yeah.
technology, just the entrepreneurship of these people
Yeah.
really building real businesses has truly changed. So
Yeah.
it's fun to see you though. Since I've known you, you've had some massive change.
Yeah. Tell me about
And
that.
what's that?
Tell me about that. What have you seen? Interesting, because you're kind of like not a direct coach, right? Like we don't get a lot of like direct, consulting
Yeah.
necessarily. You've kind of watched from a little bit of a step away through Spring's eyes and Justin's eyes and at events and things like that. So it'd be neat to hear your perspective on what you've seen. Sorry, I know this
Well,
is your podcast,
well,
but I'm
I
just
think
going to
I
try this
think I think
advocate.
this is a great fair question, and
Yeah.
thank you for asking. So, I see two main things. One, I see that you guys have really decided to take action in all of your lives, and you guys are both super fit. You've come a long ways on the health side of your
hmm
lives, and you've come a long ways on the business side of your lives. Instead of selling real estate, and I remember when I met Spring, and we've been married almost 11 years now. When I met her, she would always just say, I'll just sell another house. Oh, if I'm going to buy
hmm
that, I'll just sell another house.
hmm
That is the last thing she would say to me today is, I'm going to sell
hmm
another house, right?
Right.
I
Right.
mean, the only house I can remember her selling in the any time in the recent,
hmm
past is we just bought a house and she actually was the realtor on the house we bought. But
Yeah.
other than that,
Yeah.
because she's focused on building a business, right? And not just one business, but multiple businesses. So
Yeah.
and I see that happening with you now. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about something. And it's funny because when I first heard this, I thought of it as, this contest that you were doing. And after talking to you about this today, I really view it as you wanting to help others.
Yeah.
So before we dive into that, what I want to ask you, you were at a Tom Ferry event once, right?
hmm
And did he call you up on stage? What happened?
Yeah, I was already on stage.
You were on stage.
I was
Okay.
already on stage. I was on a very small panel and we were talking about listing attraction strategies. So
Okay.
this, obviously, like I said, from day one, like I just went off I'm going to do listings. And it wasn't about winning at the table. It wasn't like how do you win at the table and get them to sign. It was like, how do you get them to even know to get to you to even list their house? It was opportunity. I didn't even get the opportunity at
Yeah.
that
How
scale.
do you how did you get to their door and get in their house, right?
Yeah, yeah. Before
Yeah.
you get them to win, like, how do you just get your phone to ring? Like, how
Yeah.
do you brand yourself that way?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what we were basically talking about is all of the branding and the strategies that I mean, I drive around with a wrapped Mini Cooper, like with QR codes all over it. Like, you have to be a little obnoxious sometimes to not get lost, in the sea of
Yeah.
real estate agents in
Yeah.
your
Yeah, it's
market
great.
sometimes. But really, just not being kind of unapologetic with like, yeah, I'm a realtor, I'm a good one, and I'm everywhere, and I can help you. Not being that secret agent that people are kind of afraid They don't have the sales breath. They don't want to be like, oh, I'm a realtor. Oh, here she goes, going to try to sell me a house, right? It
Yeah.
was just really being proud of who I was and what I had built, and being really knowing what I built, like knowing my
Yeah.
niche, knowing where my value is, not trying to be everything to everyone.
So you were in the Tom Ferry community.
Hmm.
You were on stage.
Hmm.
Was he the one interviewing you guys
Yeah.
on a panel? So Tom's
Hmm.
up there interviewing you guys, and we all know
Yeah.
Tom asks great questions. He's
Yeah.
great on stage, right? And so the next thing you know,
Next
he
thing I
popped
know,
you a
so this is like,
question. He popped you a question. I don't think it was to marry him, right?
no, which I
No, what was the
never
question?
do that. First of all, I'm happily married. One. Two, I'm going to make my own money, so I don't need that. Yeah, he basically just was like, okay, I'm paraphrasing, like, if you're so good at attracting listings, like, you want to make a bet? And I was like, yeah. So, I'm on stage, preface, 8,000 people, big
So he
screen.
asked you, he wait a second. He asked you if you want to make a bet. You didn't even know what the bet was, and you
Yeah,
said yes?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. So
because,
you're on stage, all these
yeah,
people, and he says that you want to make a bet, you say yes, and
yeah,
what happens then?
yeah. And I kind of was like, well, first of all, when Tom Ferry says you want to make a bet, it's not about you anymore. Like, it's not about you anymore. It's a moment. Like, you're given an opportunity to do something bigger than yourself. So regardless of how small or big it was, I would have said yes because I took that opportunity. So we're hand locked on stage and he says, you don't even know what it is. I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna do it. And he's like, okay. He said, well, I bet you $10,000 that you cannot sign 100 listings before the next summit event, which was a 10-month cycle. So it was there 10 months ago, would have been on stage again. This isn't appointments. This is like sign real listing agreements, like put these homes on the market, sign listings for $10,000. I was like, okay. He's like, I don't think you can do it. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And
Now,
then
what at this point, Sandy, what was your best listing year? And I'm
52.
going to say year. I'm not going to say 10 months, but I know this was
Yes,
10 months, but
52 listings.
52 listings at this point in your career was your
Yeah.
best. How many years ago was this? Like 3, 4,
Yeah, just almost 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Okay.
Hmm.
So Tom says, I'll bet you $10,000 you can't sell 10 or 100 listings in 10 months.
Yeah.
And you said yes before he even, which
Yeah.
means this is not Tom saying, I'll give you $10,000.
No, this is if
If
I
you
don't
do
do it, I
this,
have to
this is
give
if
you.
you don't do it, you're going to pay him
Correct.
$10,000 as well. This is a true bet, right?
Yeah, this was a mutual
Okay.
bet.
So
Yeah.
game on, game on. You said yes, and then what happened?
Yeah. And then reality set in. I got home. I was like,
Did you
oh
have a
my
lot of fear? Like reality set in? Does that mean you had fear come to you going, what did I just do?
God. In all honesty, just for a minute, I thought this is crazy. Like, am I crazy? Like, that's a lot of houses. That's a lot of listings.
Yeah. So
And I
the
was like,
fear and doubt came in.
fear and doubt came in. Obvious. I don't know who wouldn't feel that for a moment. So everyone, for the rest of the event, they're all like, are you going to do it? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you all, and I kind of got this. It was awesome that it happened in this environment because immediately this feeling of accountability came over me.
Yeah. Well, there were probably 5,000 people at this event,
Almost 8,000 people in this.
8,000 people at this event, and
Yeah.
they all know you committed to do this. So every one of them are
Yeah.
paying attention. Every one of them are saying you're crazy. Many of
Yeah.
them probably said you'll never do it,
Yep.
right? Because that's what people like to do. They like to
Yep.
try to take away from you.
Yep.
So you know
I,
what? I'm all in,
I'm
and
all
that
in.
being in that culture and that environment, committing to 8,000 witnesses that you're going to do this, that's
Mhm.
a lot of accountability. That's a good thing.
It is. And I'm glad I had it, to be honest. But it wasn't good enough for me, Brian, to actually have that accountability. Because then I was like, okay, so what? I'm supposed to just go stand on stage in 10 months and say I did it? Like,
Yeah.
who's going to believe me unless I bring them along? Who's going to believe me unless I say, I will show you? I will not just do it and stand there and take my money. I believe if I can do this, we all can do this. Everybody who sat in that room. And we know when we're in these big real estate events that the majority of agents sitting in that room is probably a solo agent. They're not always these mega teams. Even if they're on teams, they're still sitting there on an individual seat, questioning their abilities, what they can do. You go to these events, you hear people, like you said, closing hundreds of billion. People are hitting billions in volume now. Teams are hitting hundreds, thousands of listings on teams. But very, very, very I never heard one solo agent listing 100 homes in a year. And I knew this was something pivotal.
Yep.
Okay, this is where the emotion hits.
So you decide you're going to bring these people along. And when you did that, when you said that, you actually reminded me of my wife, because Spring, when she made the move from Real to EXP, she basically said, no one believes I can do it. Everyone thinks EXP is, this company you had to get in early. Right. You don't have to get in early. You just have to bring value to people. I can bring more value than I ever have. And so she's like, I'm going to bring them along for the ride, for the journey, right? And so you did that exact same thing. So how did you bring them along?
If you've been enjoying Grit, please help us continue to grow the channel by leaving a 5-star review and sharing it with a friend. Now back to Grit.
Well, I documented everything I did. I was all in my social media. Every time I had a 1 through 100 list taped to my door. So every time I had a listing, I held up my thing and I wrote the address.
You showed the door.
Showed them. Yeah.
Now you would show your Sisu dashboard, but then you showed the door, right?
Right. Yeah. It was paper. I didn't have Sisu, so I had a list, and it was always in front of me. I actually still have it. You can't see it over there, but I actually have a list of 1 through 100. I try to do this every year. It's a goal for myself every year.
So you just said you try to do this every year. Does that mean that there's only 1 year you've actually done it?
I only did it that 1 year. And reason being is now I'm growing my team. I've got things that have come from this that, take away a little bit of my focus to do it. But no doubt, I could do it again if that's all.
I know you could. All you would need is the accountability of 8,000 people, and you do it again like that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just brought everybody on my journey. Yeah. And I didn't gatekeep. You know what I mean? I think one of the things too is just if I figure something out, I'm just going to share it. So in our ecosystem Facebook group, in the Ferry organization, you take all those people were in a Facebook group, and I would share, hey, this is what I learned. This is what I've tried. This is what I created. Here's a Canva link. Here's I'm just use it. You do it with me. And I was just kind of trying to fuel this motivation, because 10 months is a long time to stay focused. Because if you think about the math of that, I love breaking down the math, because people are 100 listings. I'm like, okay, 10 a month, that's 2 to 3 listings signed a week. If you could just focus your activities on only the things that had the best opportunity to result in a listing appointment, you could do it still. But we get so distracted with all the other stuff. We aren't focused on what we want, and what we focus on happens.
Yes, what we focus on expands. It happens, whether good or bad, right? So, so focus on the good. I would call this a matter of focus and determination.
Oh, 100%.
And you have to believe that you can do it, to do it, right?
Yeah.
So you did this, and now you want to help the world. And how are you bringing this to the world, Sandee? Let's talk about this.
I do. Well, I'll just say, I just thought, okay, that's an amazing. And it was probably a week before the summit, and I said to my coach, I said, I'm panicking. And she said, what? I did 103 actually. So I just kept going, because the things that I had built, the practices, I didn't stop. They just kept going.
Yeah. Why would you stop? Yeah.
Kept happening. And so, but I said to her a week before, I said, I don't know how to answer the question everyone's going to have. Everyone's going to just want to say okay, how did you do it? That was going to be the money. And I was they're going to be, my phone's going to be going crazy. They're going to be you have a minute? Can you talk? You kind of pick your brain. I'm I don't think I'm going to be able to handle all of that. So I started a Facebook group. I said, I'm going to start a Facebook group. If you want to know how I did it, join me in my Facebook group. Free, follow along. I'll share in there. I can control what I can control when I'm in there, doing what I'm doing in there. And so I made this whole little thing, the QR code. Want to know how I did it? Join my Facebook group. And that's what I gave out to everybody. I just handed them out to everybody at the time. So I've built, over the 3 years, I've built this Facebook group to over 4,500 agents.
Oh, congratulations.
Country, world. Israel is my furthest agent that I have someone in this group. And it's just kind of continued to escalate. And last year, several of them said, hey, we need to do an accountability. We'd love to buy into something, be held accountable a little bit. And I thought, oh, how many people are going to do it. 220 people signed up for it in 3 days. I launched this sucker in 3 days and had 220 people sign up for it. And
You launched this 3 days ago?
no, last year. But
Last year.
I
Okay.
did a tiny version of this.
You did a
what
little
it was
contest
now,
last year. 220 people signed up like that.
like that.
Okay.
And so we got through the year. We had a leaderboard and an Excel sheet, like super basic. And yeah, I think our top performing agent who stuck with it and leaned in did 76 listings.
That's great. So
Yeah,
nobody hit the 100, but
nobody hit the 100.
76 is a good year.
That's a beautiful year. Yeah. And
Yep.
several were in that, and it's not about the 100. It's just about the discipline, just changing your business, how you go about it, how you show up, what your goals are, getting really clear, knowing what works, right?
So-
Like accountability, like that's your whole life is accountability in Sisu. It's figuring out how to keep track of what you're doing and what works.
I love that you did that last year, and I'm super excited to hear about what you're doing this year. But last year, I need to ask you this, Sandee, because I think there's something to the $10,000. Like, if you didn't do it, you had to come up with 10 grand to give to Tom Ferry, right? And if you did do it, it was like you sold a bonus house because he gave you 10 grand, right?
Right.
Did he give you the 10 grand on stage? How did he present that?
Oh, it was one of those big monster checks with my name on it. It was like a big deal. In the background was like dollar bills, like this video of dollar. I kind of call it like my golden buzzer moment. Like,
yeah.
But
well, that's exactly. So when I was in college, I had a roommate, and they rolled out. We went to a Utah State basketball game. We would always sit on the front row, be a little obnoxious. You know how it is. And they call him down at halftime, and they say, "We're doing this new thing today. If you have 30 seconds, if you can make a layup, a foul shot, a top of the key shot, and a half court shot in 30 seconds, you will get $10,000. You'll get a year worth of Sprite, and you'll get a year's worth of Whoppers." Okay? Free Whoppers for a year.
Okay.
So, of course, when they did this, they thought, no way anybody's ever going to do this, right? So he goes out there, and by the way, this one of my friends, he had, hair halfway down his back. That was a lot less acceptable back then than it is now. So, people are like, who is this guy? He goes out there, dribbles, makes the layup, makes the foul shot, misses the top of the key, gets his rebound, makes the top of the key, runs back to the half court line, 3 seconds left, throws the half court shot up, goes through the hoop, $10,000. He got that $10,000 check the same way you did. The next game, they presented him with this big $10,000 check that he could put in his bedroom for the year, And he got his Whoppers and his Sprite. But that's what it reminded me of to hear this with you. So Tom presented you at the was it at the next year's event?
So I was back on stage, like, okay, of course, through the year I had to check in and, validate the fact that I was doing this for real, that it was actually for real. And so got on stage, kind of talked about, here you are, how'd the year go, and then we, kind of led up to the announcement of, did you do it? Did you not do it? And so, it was really, really kind of cool. I did a little mindset tricks. I think it's important when people set some pretty big goals. And this is obviously something I'm continuing to learn, through being with all of you, is you have to, one, believe it, and you have to be able to see it. You have to actually be able to visualize that this is taking place in your future. And I remember sitting there when I was, my first day back in the office, and like, the only way I'm going to get there is if I believe that I can get there. Yeah, and I'm going to be on that stage, and I'm going to get this big check, and it's going to happen. And that was my goal. I just kept, going for the I was like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to change my life, and I'm going to change a lot of other people too.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I was at the U.S. Open in New York last year, Wimbledon the year before that. You see these professional tennis players. The ones that win are the people that can see themselves in that position. And many of them that win are the ones that have won and won and won again. You see the two same guys winning every event right now because they know they can see themselves winning that, and they can see it, and they see it, and they visualize it. And once you have experienced that in your subconscious, now you can experience it in the conscious.
100%.
And so, it's so cool. So congratulations on that. Tell me about the contest you're rolling out right now for next year.
For 2026, yeah, it's just the beginning. So things have kind of escalated, obviously. I've continued to be the face, the name, speak about this opportunity that I had and how it changed, and I've helped a lot of people. And it's kind of just grown into this, like, I think we're just going to go all in with it. Like, I think we're going to do something the industry has never collectively done. Like, and I say collectively, meaning all brokerages, like anybody can participate. Like, this is not an EXP thing. Like, this is not like, oh, I've always
This is broker, it doesn't
this
broker
is just
agnostic. Doesn't matter
real
what
estate.
brokerage you're in.
No matter what you're in, I want to change people's lives. I want them to believe in themselves and believe that they can do, even if it's going from 10 to 20, like whatever their goal is, just do better. Be in a room of people who want to see you succeed, who want to collaborate with you, who want to help you bring out your gifts and figure out where you belong in this business, especially as a listing agent. Because I do believe, buyers will find what they're looking for. I do believe the strength in the future of this industry, where it's going, and as we see it evolving very, very quickly, it all very much leans towards the buyer side. But I do believe listing agents are going to be where the future of this business is. And
Absolutely.
I feel responsible with what I know to share that with every agent that I know.
We all know that the listing agent has the leverage. Listing agent is where everyone wants to be.
Yeah.
And it's a little harder right now when you're a listing agent because the market switched a little bit with the interest rates going up, and a lot of listing agents are having to do a lot of price drops or their homes aren't selling. So it's a little bit different market, but it's a great time to actually get that skill set in place. So Sandy, your contest is it the same contest that
It's the same
Tom
content.
had for you? Same challenge? You have
It
10
is.
months to do 100 listings starting January 1st.
Yes.
Okay. What's the name of the contest?
0 to 100 listing challenge.
0 to 100. That's good. I mean, we could have Drake on there as well. Maybe Tom could sponsor this as well alongside Sisu. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think
I
he
don't
would if
know.
you asked him?
That would be an interesting conversation to have for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. All right. So, Sisu, I'm happy that we get to be a part of this event and sponsor
I
it.
know. Yeah.
It's going to be fun to see all those dashboards with all these people in it.
Yeah, it's going to be so cool. And so the neat thing is, just kind of preface, you'll be provided everything to help you be successful. And that's what our role is. It's like, I don't want them not to be successful because they don't have the tools or the resources or the support to be successful. In growing a team, we sit down with recruit after recruit and we hear we didn't have the support, we don't have the resources. If we did, we would be able to do better. And so just hearing that over and over and over again, and of course I can't have everybody on my team, and okay, that's a whole nother, we'll vision that out later. But how can I be that missing link with what I know to be that support, be the kind of missing pieces that people are really craving for? And what better way to do it is with a little competition. I know that drove me. If there was no $10,000 check, I mean, I made a lot of money that year. So $10,000, honestly, in the scheme of it, like, whatever. But had he just made the bet and that wasn't tied to it, I don't know if I would have been so driven to the end result, of that standing on stage,
Of course
saying,
you wouldn't have been.
collecting the check. And so that's why we really feel like giving people the platform and the tools and the leaderboards, right? We're going to pin you all against each other. We're going to constantly have in front of you who's winning. We all know competition is great. And I think we all have a similar personality. We all want to outperform and outdo our competitors, but we're going to do it with fun and love. And they're going to learn a lot about real estate. I have two other partner coaches that we're doing this together. It's a big job to take on. And so they're going to get three coaches always there for them, weekly mastermind calls. I mean, just all the tools, like Sisu. I know a lot of people don't have. Again, meeting with so many agents, they don't have databases. They don't even know what KPIs are, Brian, and I could not have done the challenge if I didn't figure that out and start to know I have to keep track of my work so I know what to repeat and what works and how to scale.
Right.
And
So who are the other coaches you're doing this with?
Yeah, so Danny Burgess and Ryan Reel, the three of us.
So Danny and Ryan and you
Danny
are
and Ryan
doing
and
this.
me. Yeah.
And you guys are every week, you're going to be on there and you're going to run coaching calls for everybody in here at no charge, right?
There's a charge.
Okay, what's the charge?
Coaching's not a charge, but there is a registration fee, of
Yep.
course, during the challenge. But we all are coming from the same place of wanting to just pour in and give. and be really honored to be able to do that with everybody. So of
I
course,
love that.
there's a lot of costs and a lot of time. So of course there has to be a registration. And again, if it were free, we don't think people would lean into it because,
It's true. When people
you
do
know,
things for free, they don't show up the same
they
way.
don't show up. So
Every event I've ever done, if we give away a ticket, people usually don't show. Half the time they don't show. So
yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't make sense to do that because then you can't even plan for how many people are going to be at your event, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's
Um,
10 months, 10 pillars to 100 listings. So every month we're actually going to focus on one lead pillar from start to finish in that 30 days. We're going to teach everyone how to use the pillar, how to build it, build an SOP around it, make sure their databases are built with all of their drip campaigns, scripts, material, marketing, all around best practices, one pillar at a time. So every month that'll shift. So they'll be keeping themselves accountable with a lot of those tasks in Sisu. There will be fun stuff and it's not just real estate because I do believe too, and like you had kind of mentioned, like just my personal life transformation. If you're gonna perform at that level in real estate, you have a lot of other work to do on your health and your mindset, and we're incorporating all of that in. We want to make sure that we're creating a very well-rounded, sustainable, no burnout, right? Like sustainable
it's so
success.
important.
And that's why people like Spring and you can have lots of business and have your hands in a lot of things and still get 8 hours of sleep at night and go on vacations and live life, because when you have it all dialed in and systems that take time away, to take physical time off of you, right?
Mhm.
Having all of those systems allows you to scale to more money, more freedom. It's very interesting how it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we're going to have 3 people hit 100 this year. So 100 is not going to get the winner, whatever that winning prize is. It's going to take more than 100 because there's going to be 3 people hit 100. Are you in line with that, or is that just me?
I mean, if we just look at the law of numbers, it's going to be very exciting. It is going to be very exciting to see who puts in the work to get to the 100. My hope in all of it is I don't want people to not. Like, we're going into this with the intention that you can do it. And if you believe you can do it, you will.
I'm going to be watching this leaderboard because
Yeah.
I want these people to win as bad as you do.
Yeah, I'm not betting against any of them. I'm betting for them, and I know their lives are going to change. And I just, what the cool thing is too, I mean, we're leaning in on, we know this is going to be amazing because not only do we have people like you and your team stepping up, and just what can we do to support you? Just you say it, we're there. We're also going to have master coaches, like big name industry coaches that cost tens of thousands of dollars for a 10-minute phone call. You know what I mean? They're giving us hours of their time to speak to our coaching clients within I mean, the more I talk to people, they're like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this because the listeners of this are mostly team leaders, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some solo agents, and solo agents, if you're in this, go for this. But team leaders, if you're in this, I know a lot of you guys are out of production. Share this with your teams because this is a way to increase your business by having Sandee coach your agents to become better listing agents. And for me, that's the key here. Sandee and her team are giving back, and they're going to make an impact on your business just by getting your team to participate in this contest for next year. Again, that's 10 months of coaching that your agents are going to get on how to be professional listing agents. And as I sit here right now, I'm like, I need to go downstairs and I need to tell, because I'm in the Utah Life office. I'm like, I need to go downstairs and tell everybody, you got to get in this contest, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's probably less than one commission check to get in for the 10 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
exciting. We want everybody to
it's
do
fun.
it.
I'm excited for you guys. Thank you for giving back to the community like this. I believe, I don't know what, I believe without a doubt this year, it's all going to be on the Sisu dashboards. We're going to know it. Everyone's going to know it. We're going to publicize this across the country. And there are going to be people that hit 100 this year.
Yeah.
So, and again, guys, that's 110 months. Let that be you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Sandee. Hey,
awesome.
Thank you for joining me today. There's no better place, no more fun for me to do anything than announce this contest on this show. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity to sponsor and to be a part of this with you. And I am really looking forward to seeing some agents just crush next year.
Yeah, and the registration link went live today. So we are actively taking a competitor registration. So they can reach out.
What is that link?
It's basically sign up dot zero, all numbers 0 to 100 listingchallenge.com.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, it's sign up. So sign up
Sign up.
0 1 2 0 0. So 0 to 100 listingchallenge.com. And if they just come on my Instagram, cool, it's right there. It's all over the place right
So
now.
all numbers 0 to 100. Go to Sandee Payne on Instagram. You can hit the link there. Get signed up, guys. The contest starts January 1st, 2026. We're going to run it through the end of October. And next year at this time, we will be like on the final countdown.
We're going to do it again.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be like a race. It's going to be the final 2-week sprint.
Yeah.
And then we're going to celebrate. So
we're going to celebrate big. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sandee,
Awesome.
Thank you for joining me on the show. It was great to have you today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast. If you have an interest in a free 7-day trial of Sisu, go to sisu.co, sisu.co. Make sure that you use the coupon code GRIT, that's GRIT, to waive all your setup fees and receive a 10% discount on your subscription. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and want to subscribe, search GRIT, the Real Estate Growth Mindset, on iTunes, Spotify, or Podbean. And with that, we'll catch you next time. Take care.